So I'd love to get your thoughts a little bit on kind of international expansion. You've been able to expand into a lot of markets. That's been, part of, or at least one of the variables and factors in the growth. Can you talk about, as you have approached international expansion, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and what are some of the key lessons learned?
We had an enormous amount of pressure years ago to open in China. And I just kept seeing all these landmines. And I thought, I don't want to rush in. This looks like a real problem to me. There are all these red flags that were coming up. And fortunately, we didn't get involved in China. And a lot of other companies had massive problems. And in fact, when we've spoken with brand partners today, they'll ask, are you going into China? And my response is no. Doesn't make sense. And they're like, oh, I'm glad to hear that because other companies are getting killed there. So I would say in that case, brand partners are not pushing China the way that they used to. On the positive side, I'll use Taiwan as an example. We opened Taiwan in 2008. And for many years, we would do just over $1 million a year. We weren't really making any money and, we were losing money. But I was looking at the long-term potential and I thought, okay, if we're going to stay in there. I don't think we're going to get a second shot at this. I don't want to leave and then try to come back in later. So it's far better to keep the investment, even if you're losing money year over year, and showing people that you're serious about supporting the market. And what happened was incredible. That strategy definitely was noticed by a number of the leaders in Taiwan. And when X39 came out, the leaders unified and they said, well, LifeWave's been supporting us all of this time. Now it's time for us to work together. We've got this one opportunity. Let's build the business. And now Taiwan is LifeWave is in the top 30 largest network marketing companies in Taiwan, but it was because we stayed committed to the market. So I would say being able to avoid some of the landmines in international would be really important. You'd save time and money. And then once you decide to go into a market, be committed to the market, even if it doesn't go in the direction that you hope, because you may not get another shot at it. And I think that brand partners are looking for those red flags. Is this company really committed into our market or not? And you want to be there to say, yeah, we've been here for years. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that is such a thoughtful approach that has served the company really well. And I know the trust, when you make that long-term commitment to a market, when you see the potential, you're in there for strategic reasons, not just because you got pulled in maybe by a leader, but you build such great trust that when kind of it's time for that market to really start growing, that you start seeing those benefits. That's a really important approach. So I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on a little bit looking back and a little bit looking forward with just a few more questions. So looking back across the amazing 20 years, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice when you founded LifeWave, what do you think that would be?
That it's important each and every day to have a life of prayer. That ultimately you want to rely on God's plan and find out, how can I do the most good in the world? And really turn that over to God. Because ultimately, if your company doesn't represent being a positive force for good in the world, then it may not be a worthwhile venture. You want to be able to stand on stage in front of your community and in all sincerity, talk about all of the good that you're doing in the world. The world is a better place because of LifeWave. The world's a better place because of what it is that we're doing. And in their hearts, they know it's true because there's evidence of that. So I would say that really has to be the focus. is where does this company fit in the world, and how can we do the most good? And they say only God is good. So it's important to turn to God in prayer and then look for that guidance. So, and then I think the other thing I would say to my younger self is it's going to be a long, hard journey, but everything is going to be okay. Everything, you'll go through a lot of ups and downs. You'll be put through the fire. Keep doing what you're doing. This is what you're meant to do with your life. And, you're going to become a better person through the process, despite some of the difficulties. So, but that said, I wouldn't change a thing, because otherwise I might not be where I am today. So, but I think those would be some important lessons.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes it's the challenging times, I think, that we learn the most, and that helps build us and turn us into the people that we need to be to accomplish the task at hand. Kind of along those same lines as it relates to leadership, building an organization, leading an organization, hiring, within that, what do you feel from a kind of a purely leadership standpoint is one of the great lessons that you've learned over the last 20 years?
You really have to love and care for the people that you work with, as well as the brand partners, and think about their situation and where is it that they're trying to get to, and how can you help them get there. So as a leader in the company, I think about how can I provide a stable business, one that's safe, that people can call their home, that they feel good about putting their time and hard work and energy into, and have this be a really rewarding experience, and have people know that what they're doing is making a difference. So with our leaders and our brand partners, when they're applying our products to people and they see these transformations that occur, they know that they've done something great in the world, and they're going to build a business and earn money as a consequence of that, not the opposite, not that they're earning money and they're trying to sell people products. No, it's about, we want to make a difference in the world. We want to offer hope. We want to offer healing. And as a consequence of those actions, we're going to be able to build a business as a result. So I think culturally, that's really important for leaders, that we be thinking about how can we help and support the people around us. And then I think everything else takes care of itself.
Well, I can personally attest to the impact that approach has, on the individual level, me as being a member of the LifeWave team, as well as it has on the entire organization. And kind of drafting off that a little bit, looking at the broader channel outside of the company, you've been an incredible champion for the business model, for direct selling itself. As you look out over the next 3 to 5 years, again, the landscape is changing so rapidly, for all of us in direct selling. What excites you most about the future of direct selling?
It's going to be absolutely huge. And I'll tell you why, is that other companies are not going to adopt the same philosophy about robotics and AI that we are. And it's already happened with companies like IBM. One of my friends worked for IBM for 40 years, and they laid him off. They laid off 6,000 people when they integrated a new AI system. And these public companies are going to be thinking about using AI to cut costs, improve the bottom line, improve profitability, and improve stock value. And again, this is, I get it, but I think it's a very short-sighted vision. So what this means is that you're going to get hundreds of thousands, millions of people that are going to be looking for work, and they have to support their families and themselves. So they have to turn to the gig economy, and direct selling is going to be one of the options that they have for earning an income. So the question is, can we provide an opportunity where they can come in, earn money quickly, and support themselves and their family? So that's kind of the challenge. So I certainly believe that LifeWave is perfectly positioned to take advantage of this shift that's coming with AI and robotics. And now it's really up to, my message to the industry is we've got to innovate. We have to produce products and services that are patented and that you can't find anyplace else. So in our case, we've got patented health and wellness technology. We have drone technology. We have power generation technology. And I'm intending to build LifeWave into a multi-billion-dollar organization so that 10, 20 years from now, we're still healthy and we're growing and we're doing really, really well. But it all stems from innovation and then looking at what are the current trends and then being prepared to take advantage of them.
That's wonderful. I think that's the perfect idea to end on today. I really do think the future of commerce generally is going to be social. It's going to be direct. And so I agree with you. We're perfectly positioned to take advantage of this, but we do have to do the right things to ensure relevancy, like making sure we're innovating, that we're patenting our products, that there are these exclusive, ownable, differentiated aspects to the channel as a whole. Dave, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to share your insights, your expertise, and thank you for giving all of us in direct selling an incredibly inspiring example of growth and innovation.
Absolutely.
So here's to the next 20 years.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.